All right, we are back. We are back. All right, we are back. We are back. All right, we are gonna need some tabs. How are you all doing? Welcome in. So today we are going to. Oh, I gotta post the link, I suppose, in Discord. Someone asked in the Discord, wait, is SpacetimeDB entirely in memory? So it might be a great idea for huge procedure generated world like Minecraft, as the entire already generated would have to be loaded into memory. People, I don't know. It's fine. Disks are not much bigger than memory is these days. Just like to make that point. They're maybe 10 times bigger. 100 times. I guess that's a lot. 10 times, really. Well, memory's expensive these days. I regenerated them. Got to approve PR here real quick. 1 second. We're doing a quick release of the CLI for SpacetimeDB because to release some of the things we've already changed here on the stream so that will work. Because actually I think some of the references, like if you go to the docs and you go to the quick starts and you go to React, we have spacetime dev template and that actually doesn't work. You need to do spacetime init template. So this will fix that problem. Once we do that. So we're cooking on that, and then let's look at my tickets to do here. Okay. So, what did we do yesterday? We did, well, we have this change. So we worked on improving tables, why we're using tables in general. We talked a little bit about, we did schedule table things, we talked about the column types, and we, I think, gave some examples of that. So now, for example, in column types, you have a code example for each of the languages of using each of the types. So that's kind of nice. This is capitalized. I think it might be better not capitalized. Maybe we should make that tiny change. Kind of doesn't matter. Let's see. And then what else we can do here is we did binary representations and all this stuff. Indexes, complete rewrite of the textbook style documentation. Let's use indexes. Let's do sequences. How about that? How about that? So let's go over here. And okay, excellent. We always like to tell our AI excellent so that it feels good. That's important. Let me close some of my many tabs. This other screen. here, here.
Close this, close this, close this, close this.
Have I seen RAM prices? RAM prices are high, I must say. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, Mere Hardware. Good to see you back in the chat. I'm glad that you're here. Can you run LM update benchmark since only contributors can seem to run it? Yeah, I can do that. That link doesn't work. I'm assuming the %20 is not supposed to be there. Let's see. Fix LM benchmarks in Rust. Let's take a look at the PR real quick. What, can you explain this PR real quick? What is it? I mean, do you have it in the description? Fix in Rust to use result instead of result row in the request to the LLM, making it always fail. It's actually the Banach marks, which is a better name for benchmarks, if you ask me. Let me pull this up over here so you guys can see it. So we have fixed LLM Banach marks in Rust since they use a result instead of result row in the request to the LLM, making it always fail. Hello tomorrow, and hello Sojima MX. Welcome in. I don't know that I understand. Let me look at these files, because I did not write these benchmarks. Write it back in 2 tables looks like a row. Yeah, let's do it. This is great. This is great. This is a great fix. Thank you for taking a look into this. Update LLM benchmark. The reason we need to run the LLM update benchmark is there's very tricky exfiltration problems. So like, if you can run code on a repo that you have created on a fork, in our repo, there's tricky things about GitHub secrets and stuff, so it's important that we review and run them ourselves. I'm pretty sure you can exfiltrate on a fork, but nevertheless. It should now run, so we'll see that. It's a great flag, so at least we'll get a better idea. Then maybe it makes sense why Rust was just always lower performance on the benchmarks. One thing that I was going to do next is, talk about sequences. So let me get a page about sequences. Let me update that. Although we could do a lot of other stuff first, so let's see. Page about. Now, notably, I wrote the original sequences logic. I don't remember it at all. So let's excellent. Let's see what Claude Code here can come up with. So, excellent. Let's now also add a page about add a page about sequences in the table section, which is linked to from the AutoInc section of the docs. For context, we use sequences behind the scenes to implement AutoInc. When you we should also add additional, actually maybe should it be in the same thing? Hold on one second, I'll go here. So where do I talk about It's in constraints. I think that basically we should have auto ink and constraints. Like basically unique columns are the only constraints that we have. Auto ink is not really a constraint. So I don't think it belongs here. Neither is default values. That's like attributes. So maybe we just move this entirely out of that page. Let's see. Thanks for Spacetime. It's been so much fun to work with. Thank you so much. It's fun. So I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying it. Trying to make it easier and easier to use. Trying to improve the documentation so that it's not confusing. The next button, href attribute on this page, needs to be changed. Actually, that's in my docs thing here at the bottom. Someone else reported this, so this is where I track the tickets. And the next button on this page is broken, so we'll fix that today as well. Got that in the docs, but thank you for raising it, Dan the programmer. He's supposed to be docs quick start TypeScript. I think it is as well. Adding a note to the facts section about static variables not being recommended would be helpful. It's a great point. Yeah, okay, let's add that to my list, and we're gonna come back to that one. So, add a note about global static data and discouraging its use, specifically referencing the fact that it's not maintained across review circles. We're going to come back to that one. That's a great call out. Should sequences be its own page? I think maybe not. I think we should just have a thing called attributes, like column attributes, and move it from the primary key is its own page. I don't know. Let's make auto ink its own page. I've decided. Let's see. Can we add an example subscription response to the SATS JSON data format and the vset and data format docs pages? We certainly can do that. So I have a friend here today. Here he is. He's gonna step up things. And it's gonna make it difficult for me to read chat. That's fine. Okay, so let's not also. Oh. Look at me, oh yes, indeed. He's taking up his position. We like. Oops. There he is. Now he's coming back. It is a desk-mounted cat bed. The idea is I can get him off of the actual desk, but that doesn't work. He's on the desk right now. He's attacking my mouse, so that's fine. Excellent. Now let's add a page button, blah, blah, blah. So actually we want to modify this, right? We want to actually say, I wish I could click in here, but I can't. Let's actually scratch all this. Can I just delete it? I have to really delete this whole thing out by hand. Crazy. It takes about 30 minutes to run. That's partially because I'm running on like the wrong GitHub runners, but yeah, that's what it takes. Okay, excellent. Next, let's pull the auto increment section out of the constraints page, since it's not really a constraint, but rather a column attribute. Let's make its own page auto increment, and let's also add a section about sequences and their semantics. Sequences are how SpacetimeDB implements the auto increment attribute. Let me see if I can. This is the code that I wrote for sequences. I wonder how much has been changed. Fair amount. No. Please don't sit on the keyboard. Oh my god. Sorry for doing that. For this, I'm actually going to have it read this file. And we can slap this over here. So let's go here. Let's put it back. And then let's, you can find the code that implements sequences here. Please use that as a reference for the semantics. Note also, these I cannot see. Oh my god. Note also that sequences in SpacetimeDB are loosely modeled after sequences. Hello, welcome in Toolshed. We are working on the documentation for SpacetimeDB. So SpacetimeDB is a database that is also a server that we developed, and we're improving the documentation. It's called Vibing with SpacetimeDB because we're using Claude Code to just improve the documentation. Right. Let's see, I'm using software voice typer to be able to speak my AI instead of typing them. I know, maybe I should do that. Thanks for SpacetimeDB, it's been a blast working with it. Awesome, what are you guys building with it? I'd love to hear you guys. Do you think creating something like big like arc raiders is possible with SpacetimeDB? I definitely think it is possible. I think that there are details with specifically scaling a game like that, because it's a shooter, so those are just hard to make in general, and SpacetimeDB doesn't really provide you with built-in stuff for some of that, but I think it's definitely achievable. Chippy says you've got to use voice. It's not really vibing if using a keyboard. Need full recline that boss. And boss that clank around. It's just me. But the music is kind of loud with your voice today. It certainly could be. Is that better? Is that too low? Can I use voice with Claude Code? Presumably. I guess I would just... I don't know how I would do that. All right, let's read this. Let's read the document that it came up with. Okay, auto increment columns are automatically generate unique integer values for new rows. We insert a row with a 0 value in an auto increment column. SpacetimeDB assigns the next value from an internal sequence. Defining auto increment columns. Bingo. The auto increment mechanism activates when you insert a row with 0 value in the auto increment column. This is correct. If you insert a non-zero value, SpacetimeDB uses that value directly without generating a new one. That is also correct. This behavior allows you to migrate existing data with known IDs while still using auto increment for new rows. Sequences. SpacetimeDB implements auto increment using sequences, a mechanism loosely modeled after PostgreSQL sequences. Well, let's maybe pull that out there. Try built-in voice dictation on Windows. I don't know how to set it up though. Win plus H key. I have like a Mac keyboard that I'm using with a Windows computer. It makes things very complicated. It's actually not a Mac computer. Well, it's a long story. It's a keyboard that has Windows and Mac sliders, but I actually have it all customized and it's weird. And I have it set to Mac, but I'm on Windows. SpacetimeDB implements auto-increment using sequences. A sequence is an internal counter that generates a series of integer values according to a configurable parameter. Each sequence has the following parameters: start, min value, max value, and increment. For auto-increment columns, SpacetimeDB creates a sequence with sensible defaults based on column type. For example, with a maximum of that. A wrapping behavior. When a sequence reaches its maximum value, if we insert a row with non-zero, I don't think it's skipping to the next batch of values. This leads to new rows inserted with 0 that can get the same number from the sequence that... Correct, but I believe that's intended behavior. I think that's the same behavior as in Postgres. Wait, what? If we insert a row with non-zero... Oh, that's correct, yeah. That's right. That is... Inserting rows is not supposed to change the sequence. What you really should be doing is modifying ST sequence when you do that kind of thing to change it yourself. Or we could allow you to do it from within the module, but we don't let you do that right yet. But this is the correct behavior, I believe. When a sequence reaches its maximum value, it wraps around to the minimum value and continues. For a sequence with min value 1 and max value 10, an increment of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1. Sequences with negative increments wrap in the opposite direction. Min value 1, we start at... starting at 5 produces 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crash recovery. Sequences implement a crash recovery mechanism to ensure values are never reused after a database restart. Rather than persisting the current value after every increment, sequences allocate values in batches. When a sequence needs a new value, it has exhausted its current allocation. It calculates the next batch of values, persists the allocation boundary to disk, and returns the values from the allocated range. If the database crashes, it restarts from the persisted allocation boundary. This may skip some values that were not allocated but never used, but guarantees that no value is ever sent twice. For example, if a sequence allocates values in batches of 10, unique considerations. Sequences generate values in deterministic order, but wrapping means that the value can appear multiple times over the lifetime of a sequence. If your auto-increment column is also a primary key or has a unique constraint, inserting a duplicate will fail. For most applications, the range of 64-bit integers is large enough that wrapping never occurs in practice. However, use a smaller type like U8 or U16 if your application has very high insert volume. Plan for a possibility of sequence exhaustion. There's a new row in ST sequence for every auto-inc, right? Correct. Modifying ST sequence requires restarting the host. Ooh, I didn't know that. Combining with other attributes. Auto-inc columns are commonly combined with primary keys. So we want to accept this, but then we also want to make some changes. I hope it's going to... Oh, just open up the web page. Okay. A couple things. Is are default values in Postgres considered a constraint? Yeah, they're different, but so in Postgres constraints, they have check constraints, not null constraints, unique constraints, primary key constraints, foreign key constraints. So primary keys are considered a constraint. Yes, that makes sense. It requires the values to be both unique and not null. We don't really have the concept of null, thankfully. None is technically null, so it would have to be optional. I guess it's removing it from... exclusion constraints. One can imagine also like an arbitrary constraint that you define, but that's a little bit interesting. Let's look at your PR. It's odd. The weird thing is it did run. LM output, no. You've exceeded your current quota. Please check your plan for more billing details. Classic. Gotta put in the tokens. What did I set the thing to? Usage? I mean, notably, we've done 152 million tokens. That's a lot of tokens. Fine, but did I exceed my quota? I don't seem to have limits. My budget is not hit. Check your plan. Insufficient quota. Quota seems fine. Gotta say. Hmm. What am I doing wrong? Maybe since the fork, it tries to use my API token that's not set. Could be. But it shouldn't. That was the whole point of the exfiltration thing I talked about. I mean... Too many requests. You've run out of credits or hit your maximum monthly spend. But I had it though. It's weird. I wonder if it's something that's not my quota. I'm gonna have to come back to this. It should be my tokens because I ran the update. LLM because my comment kicked it off. We're gonna have to come back to this one because I gotta sort of stay focused on this. But I think it is because it's a fork, and it's somehow not using my token or something. Okay, this is on the constraints page. I'm gonna remove auto increment. Oh. Right, let's remove that line. Well, let's just accept it. How well is SpacetimeDB producing? How well is LM producing SpacetimeDB code? Do you mean code inside of SpacetimeDB, just to be clear, or do you mean code? Like, do you mean SpacetimeDB code working on SpacetimeDB, or code that is meant for SpacetimeDB to run? User code or host code, like our code or your code? For general use. It's good. It's not as good as it could be because we need to improve the context, which is what we're doing. Let's see. The whole goal of this is to get to the point where we can sort of, at the end of this project, vibe code a correct working application that's like quite complex. Like maybe like, oh, make me Discord, and we'll just do it. There have been quite a lot of vibe coded SpacetimeDB stuff, but everyone who has done that usually makes their own context and rules and all that. Right, which is silly. Like we should do this for you, so you just don't have to do that. Am I also streaming on Twitch? I am also streaming on Twitch. We are dual streaming. Wait, where did you ask that? I don't see it in the YouTube comments. I can't wait. It's so fun to vibe code stuff. I'm playing around with MMORPG in a light format with my homies. That's cool. Also, Deathstroke. What's going on there? Oh, am I streaming on like Instagram or something? You're in YouTube. Wow, weird. I don't know why I can't see your chat in YouTube. Odd. But I see it like in my stream feed. Okay, so let's talk auto increment, blah, blah, blah. So, well, actually, let's just say that's correct. You don't see his comment either. It's weird. Deathstroke is having a Deathstroke. What did we want to change here? We wanted to also talk about. We want to talk about. I wanted to remove the loosely modeled on Postgres sequences, but I think I'm actually not going to do that. I think what I am going to do is wrap in the opposite direction. Talk about let's not do that yet. Okay. Next, I would like to add to the sequences page something at the top of the page, which says that sequences. Okay, well. Add additional information to the auto increment page, which makes it clear that also talks about the semantics of sequences with regards to MDCC and generally concurrency. I would like to mention that although SpacetimeDB currently does not execute transactions concurrently, we reserve the right to do so in the future, which means that although today within a single reducer call, sequences will always be contiguous, or whatever. Or whatever appropriate word. With concurrently if two transactions are executed concurrently, the contiguous property is not guaranteed to hold. Something like that. Yeah, the downsides of using static, we actually just added that to the to-do list, I believe. Yeah, I added a note about global static data and discouraging its use specifically with reference to the fact that it's not guaranteed to be maintained across reducer calls. Concurrency and ordering. SpacetimeDB executes transactions serially within a single reducer invocation, multiple inserts at the same column. However, Space reserves the right to execute transactions currently in future versions. If two transactions run concurrently and both insert into the same auto increment column, the resulting IDs may interleave rather than form a contiguous log per transactions. Do not write application log depends on auto being contiguous across reducer calls within a single. No, this is wrong. Don't use the word contiguous. Also, what I'm saying is that if we implement MVCC in the future, then it's possible that you insert one row and the auto inc value is 1. It's 0, 1. And then you insert another row and the auto inc value is 3. Even within the same reducer, we do not guarantee that it will strictly follow +1 semantics both between transactions because of the crash recovery and a block allocation, and also within transactions because of concurrently executing transactions. Just screen the previous Discord message to say they just don't. I know, but I want to explain it so we don't have to answer this question over and over again. Concurrency and gaps. Sequences guarantee uniqueness, not sequential ordering. They don't guarantee uniqueness. Gaps can appear in auto for several reasons. Crash recovery, batch allocation mechanism may skip values that were allocated but never used before a crash. Concurrently, but reserves the right to future versions with current execution. Two transactions during the same tail may interleave sequence values. You should not assume that consecutive inserts produce consecutive values. For example, if your application requires strictly sequential ordering without gaps, maintain a counter explicitly in a separate table. That is correct. That's perfect. That's perfect. Except, do they do sequences? Guarantee uniqueness? I could have sworn we just said they didn't. We did, in fact, just say they did not. All right. Let's look at the page, see how it looks. Okay. Sequences, wrapping, crash recovery. But reserves the right to execute them concurrently with a single reducer. Should not assume that consecutive inserts produce consecutive values. For example, one does wonder what the hell is the point of a sequence in that case. But also, yeah, if you don't want to use a sequence, an auto inc thing, I guess you could just do this. Let me say like let's give an example of how to implement a counter explicitly in a separate table. Azuro, thank you so much for the follow. If you're not familiar with SpacetimeDB, it is a server that is also a database. And we are writing the documentation today by coding that. It's extremely high performance, and it runs the back end of our game Bitcraft. Name. Use the counter value as the invoice number. Yeah, that seems fine. Like, I guess auto increment, the whole point of it is to be fast. That's why we batch allocate things. So if you don't care about being super, super fast, then just use this. These are the same semantics as Postgres, right? Like, are these the same concurrency semantics as in Postgres? You get the idea? We now maintain our own auto-inc for 2 of our tails instead of relying on SD sequence anymore. I've seen, cool project. What was the reason behind using Rust? So we needed high performance because we need to be able to control our allocations, because it turns out that matters a lot for speed. We needed to run a game. We looked at basically C, C++, and Rust. C++ too complicated. We both have, my co-founder and I, used to work in C++, but not good. Could have done C, but some memory issues, that left only Rust. At least at the time, this was like 2019, 2018. There's now like Zig and other things that you could consider, but I actually, for security reasons, would choose Rust. Counter value +1 is can not cause a race condition with 2 transactions running. Mere hardware actually cannot. And we could make this true of auto inc as well. Because that's the guarantee. We provide serializable transaction isolation, which means we're guaranteed to not have this happen. But what I'm saying is that because we don't guarantee this property of auto inc, we can make an optimization where even if you are auto incrementing the same column, we do not abort a transaction. So if you had 2 concurrent transactions, they both edited the same column in your code, we would detect that there was a isolation anomaly, serializability anomaly, and we would stop one transaction and replay it on top of the other one, but that's slow. If we use auto inc, we could run them both at the same time, because they're guaranteed to not give you the same value, because we're managing the concurrency in the backend. Two transactions are not, currently they're not, but what we're saying is that we are reserving the right to be able to do that in the future. So you should not rely on it. Actually, today, you can technically rely on the fact that auto inc will be within one transaction, incrementing one at a time. But you should not, because we might change that in the future. Similarly, gaps can occur. Concurrent transactions can receive interleaved values. Sequences are not transactional. If transacting is a sequence and rolls back, the value is lost. SpacetimeDB's gaps come from batch allocation and potential fusion. Said, do not wrap by default. They error when exhausted. I didn't think that that was true. Postgres do guarantee uniqueness until exhaustion, whereas SpacetimeDB sequences do not. Do they? PostgreSQL sequences. Wrap? Oh, there's an option. It says cycle allows the sequence to wrap around when max value has been reached. No cycle is the default. Interesting. So technically in SpacetimeDB, cycle is the default. Good to know. Okay. I think this is fine. So what next? So let's look at this. Let's commit this, I think. And then constraints page should be relatively small. It has unique columns and default values. I suggest we move the primary keys into constraints. I would like to move the primary keys in key page into the constraints page, since primary key is technically a constraint. I would like to move default values out of the constraints page and into, what does Postgres do? Its own small page. And then let's look at what we've got to do here. So, a page about sequences and their semantics, we just did that. Alright, let's see. That seems fun. We should do indexes next. I've been avoiding it a little bit. Or did we do indexes? I think we did, right? Well, we did indexes. Multi-column, querying, range queries. Well, why do I have that not checked off? What is the syntax? What are supported indexes? Index types. Technically, we also do the direct index. primary keys, primary key rules, multi-column, updates in primary keys. Let's do that. Okay, so tables, column types, auto increment, constraints, primary keys. Primary key rules, multi-column primary keys, updates. I think we just say we don't support this. Correct? Updates in primary keys. Tables without primary keys. Unique columns. This seems good. I like this. Then we have default values. We have default values, and then we have indexes. Then we have table access permissions. Then we have schedule tables, which I've now renamed to schedule tables. Schedule reducer. Function will be executed. This is looking really good. Key tables focused. Choose appropriate types. This should be the other way around, but whatever. Batch operations, monitor table growth. That's fine. See, we're off topic, but any J. Cole fans here? Who is J. Cole? So let's see. Improve the tables index page, which is currently, we did the tables, we did what is the syntax, what are the supported indexes, we gotta do, this. Let's make sure the links work. I think we do want to do this. And now let's go back to, okay. Let's now go back to the indexes page and add documentation on the one other type of index that SpacetimeDB currently supports, the direct index. We only use this in special cases for performance reasons. For example, usage. C, and then where is it? GitHub.com. I bet you guys don't even know about the direct index because it's been a little on the down low. Direct index. I don't know if that's B-tree. Indexes, yeah. Two types of indexes. B-tree maintain the data in order, enabling them equal blah, blah, blah. Direct index uses array indexing instead of a tree traversal, providing O and lookups for unsigned integer keys. SpacetimeDB uses key value directly as an array offset, eliminating the need to search through a tree structure. Direct indexes perform well when keys are dense. Keys start near 0. Insert patterns are sequential rather than random. Direct indexes perform poorly when keys are sparse. The first key insert is a large number. Insert patterns are highly random. Ooh. Example usage is here. Also, I believe they are only implemented in Rust. Like, I don't know. Basically, direct index is an array, and you're just saying like, hey, this number is the index into the array. If you do that, you get really, really fast. Mind adding the update LLM benchmark issues to your backlog to-do list if you did not already. I'm going to sleep. See you next time you're live. Have a good night. I will do that. I mean, particularly if it's blocking. I mean, if it's blocking us, then I have to fix it immediately. Can you check that? If not, I will. If not, I will take a look at that. It might take me a little longer though. Okay, so we've done the index types. What is the index name and accessor names? True. Okay, direct indexes only support single columns on primary keys. Use them for auto increment. Oh, do I support direct indexes? Did you look this up? Or are you just bullshitting me? You just bullshitting me? All right, well, let's try it. Does anybody else can anybody else verify in chat if you're just messing around whether or not you can actually type SpacetimeDB.index.direct on a column? Oh, it's gonna look it up. Actually. And then the next thing we're going to do, chat, is we are going to talk about the index name and the accessor names. I've already talked about how unique creates an index. Make column types and constraints appear on two separate pages. We've done that. Note in the constraints page that adding a unique index will, unique constraint will add an index. I think I've done that. We'll have to verify that. They're not available in Rust and TypeScript. They're only available in Rust and TypeScript. That's actually plausible. Sorry, C# folks. We'll get there. Let's commit this. Well, let's take a look. Indexes. We have B-tree, general purpose, any multi-column, direct, dense integer sequences. No, B-tree indexes. Single column indexes, table level syntax, multi-column indexes. Make sense? Querying with indexes. Quality queries. Range queries, multi-column queries, deleting with indexes. Index design guides. Choose columns based on query patterns. That seems good. That seems fantastic. To be quite honest, now let's also verify some of the things that I haven't marked off. So we want to check that index, is that mentioned here? This index is created automatically, so we have done that. Add a link to the full view section under table access permissions. Reduce or rewrite access. Procedures with transactions, read-write access, views, read-only access. Add a link to the full view section, which we do not do, right? I think we have a functions views functions. Technically, it's above there. Okay, let's make that minor change. Okay, on the table access permissions, can we talk about public and private tables? And can we also link to the view functions page from the part that we talk about views? Perhaps we could talk about how views can be used to implement row level security by filtering out rows based on the caller of the view, and also about how they can implement column level security by returning a type which redacts, which does not have certain columns in the source table. Tables. See, views are great because they solve everything. They do what you need to do, both column and row level security. Will RLS be removed in 2.0? I don't know. It's not really ever, it hasn't ever been added. It's under unstable. So you guys have to run with unstable. Main cloud does run with unstable, so people can try things out. I think we should probably have like a beta cloud, which runs with all the unstable features. But anyway, yeah, that would have been a better idea. I don't think so, but it will eventually be removed. We might do something that will allow you to use the, like you might want to be able to shadow a table. The only thing that RLS allows you to do that views don't allow you to do is to take a table which has a certain name like foobar and create another table with the same name which returns different rows. So that is the only thing that we might do, and then they're equivalent. And then it's like there's really no purpose to having RLS. There's no performance benefit. There's no nothing. Okay, wow, we got a lot of text here. Let's take a look. SpacetimeDB controls data access through table visibility and context-based permissions. Tables can be public or private in different execution contexts, like reducer views have different levels of access. Tables are private by default. Private tables can only be accessed by reducers and views running on the server. Clients cannot query, subscribe to, or see private tables. Public tables are exposed to clients for read access through subscriptions and queries. Clients can see public data, but cannot modify it by calling reducers. Okay. Internal config. This is a private table. This is a public table. Use private tables for internal configuration or state that clients should not see, sensitive data like passwords, hashes, password hashes, or API keys, intermediate computation results. Use public tables for data the clients need to display or interact with, game state, user profiles, or other user-facing data. Reducers, read-write access. Reducers receive a reducer context, produce full read-write access to all tables. They can perform all credit operations. Correct. Procedures with transactions, read-write access, that's correct. Unlike reducers, procedures must explicitly open a transaction to read or modify from the database. That's correct. We're also going to allow you to do ctx.reducer and then call a reducer on another thing. Views. Views receive view context or view anonymous view context, which provides read-only access to all tables. I need to add a ticket. And that ticket is that we should not have this distinction. It should be one, but this reading the sender should be different. I want to make sure that's on the dash, on the thing. Let's see. Basically, I'm creating a thing that says this. We want to just have view context, and we should just know whether or not you've accessed sender, but because it should be a function that you call instead of a value. In TypeScript, this can be a value, but sender ctx dot, so like in TypeScript, ctx sender, but it's a property. And then in Rust, ctx.sender goes to ctx.sender. And then in C#, I think it's a property in C#, ctx.sender. Is it capitalized in C#? I don't know. I don't do it regularly. I think it's not capitalized. How would that work with the types? Will the view context return a new type guard when accessing the sender? No. What the difference is that basically someone messed with the espresso machine settings at work. I was on a rampage this close. Oh boy. So the type would still be the same. I'm saying that basically we don't need a different type. What we can do is track the read set for what, like put sender in the read set so that if you read it, we optimize, but if you do read it, we don't optimize, but if you don't read it, we do optimize. We could still leave anonymous view context if you wanted to like make sure that you didn't call it internally to one of your functions. But the idea is that we can know at runtime whether or not you've done that. So it's an interesting question. It's really like, it would just be an assertion for you. Hey, I know for sure. Maybe we would not remove it. I think we would just really, let me actually write that down. Arguably, I guess, important, very plausibly, this should not be, or rather arguably, we should not remove anonymous view context because in case people want a static compile time assertion, that they do not use the sender. But definitely the changes to ctx.sender to make it a function are required. And then I'm going to ping this to somebody so that they are aware. FYI, I just had a small PR fix to the issue with the Unreal tutorial docs as promised. Let's take a look at that PR. It is relevant. Problem with renaming project from client Unreal to Blackholio, which causes C# header to be incorrect. Okay. Ah, this is having the same problem. So something about this is not good. Because this isn't even this is not a fork. So that's a more major problem. Approved. We're having ChatGPT API credit limit problems, so it can't merge until I fix that. But we got that done. Bingo. That's important that I didn't remember this. One second. Online, but okay. Back to this. Let's get back to it. What am I doing? How would that work with the types? Will the view context turn a new type guard? No, because these are procedural in that sense, you would also be permitted to call it .sender conditionally. How would that work with the read set? So read set, it's just the same as accessing a table. It's identical. It's just imagine that sender is a row in a table, which it arguably should be if you look at our 5 principles. It should be, but it is not. Imagine that it is. You access that. Well, we need to track anytime that value changes, so that if that value changes, we can change, the results could change. In the case of sender, it actually cannot change for the duration of your connection. However, you might want to we still need to track it to be so that we know not to combine two things. But the idea then is basically if you execute a view function and it produces a view, and we look at the read set for that view, if it does not involve sender, that means that if another person executes a view and it has the same result, or it's the same function, and it has the same read set, then we can just give you the results. We don't have to. We can just give you the materialized results. We do not have to re-execute the view. Well, I guess we have to re-execute the view to find out if it changed for you. Food for thought. I think we need to think about some things, but I think that something like that. That's the idea. Don't worry about it. I am not worried about it. Okay, so we're back here. Table access permissions, blah, blah, blah. Why did this not update? I thought, oh, did I not accept it yet? Probably not. Coolio. For more detail on querying views, using views for fine-grained access control. While visibility controls whether clients can see the table at all, views provide fine-grained control over which rows and columns clients can see. Views can read from private tables and expose only the data appropriate for each client. Role of security. Use views with view context to filter rows based on the call. Let's not call it role of security because that's going to conjure up. Well, let's finish reading this and then we will change the names. To filter rows based on the caller's identity. The view can access the caller's identity through sender and return only the rows the caller is authorized to see. That is correct. So 2 things. You can't access iter, FYI. ChatGPT. So we need to remember, don't call it row level security, don't use iter. Public review only returns messages the caller can see. By the way, one thing I was thinking of doing is making it so if you run SpacetimeDB, like I've got SpacetimeDB running, and now we've got this like weird error, but forget about that for a second. Imagine if the bottom there was actually just a prompt, and you could ask an LLM to write your app, and it would rebuild and republish and all that stuff. That would be cool. Thought about doing that. Maybe we just continue this series and I vibe code that live on stream, something like that. It would be in Rust. How hard could that be? We'd hit like Claude Code's API or something on the website. And we'd charge you energy like per token or something. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a good idea. I was distracted. So no iter, rename it. Please note. Okay, a few corrections. Please do not literally call it row level security and column level security, although that's what they are. I think that conjures up images, up a bunch of baggage from other systems. Also, you cannot access iter or otherwise iterate or scan tables in a view. This is for performance reasons. You can only access rows by an index. I believe this is already, you son of a gun. This is already mentioned on the view functions page. I lost my music. Let's bring it back. Technically, you can scan tables. However, you can only do it I distract myself all the time. You can only do it within query builders for performance reasons. Okay, let's see. Filtering rows by caller. This is exactly what we want to prevent, so I'm very glad. because this is much more performant than this, because we can do it incrementally. Let's take a look on the web page. Okay, public and private tables, that's very straightforward. Read-write access, procedures with read-write access, views read-only access. Using views for fine-grained access control, filtering rows by color, hiding sensitive columns, user account table, public user profile, my profile. Clients can query my profile to see their username creation date, but never see their email address. Yeah, that's great. Look at that. What a cool example. Combining both techniques. So you have an employee and you have a team member, and you can say, don't return anything if they're not there. Otherwise. Or if you're not the sender, otherwise report the caller but remove the things. Cool. That's great. Fantastic. We are making a cool thing here today, I have to say. Make it bounce. Not sure what we're making bounce. All right, let's look at what else we got. So, public and private tables to the. So we need to add a link to the full view section of the table permissions, which we did. Add a public private table to access permissions, which we did. Better intro section to tables. I think we did that one. Right, why tables, all this stuff. Good, good, good. Visibility, I think we add visibility. We did. We linked to access permissions. Schedule tables, which we did. Okay, add a new page under tables, which is file storage. Technically, that's kind of under column types now. Binary data and files. We could add one for file storage. I guess the person to talk to about this is Chippy. I don't know if Chippy's still here. Do password hashes even work without a cryptography library? In principle, you could have your website like insert them into SpacetimeDB, so it's plausible, right? If you're using SpacetimeDB as your backend of your website. I don't see anything wrong with that in principle, although probably we should allow access to a cryptography library. Or like provide one on the context or something. Okay, that looks good. So if we check that off, let's see. Add new files to table storage blobs example. Add files to CDN. So that's another thing. So we can do that. So I'll leave that one undone for now. Update the section functions reducers accessing tables to have examples of how to access tables within a reducer. So functions, reducers, accessing tables. Let's just do that. Let's build this. Let's just Maybe not the best example, Dovos, but if you've got a better one, I'm all ears. What do we have in the procedures section? Exactly. Like, we should really have a section about... Well, in the chat app tutorial, we should modify the chat app tutorial, honestly, to have a section about connecting to, like, ChatGPT or something, to just show people how to do that. A, that would be really cool in a demo, and B, it would show how to use procedures. My cat is about to attack my feet. His butt is wiggling. Nah. Nah. New page introducers called auth. So that's actually being handled by Julian. Update the section functions reducers accessing tables having a table within a reducer. I think we're just going to do this one right now. In the functions view, and then we'll also say in the functions do not, sir. This guy attacks my speakers, okay? And I feel like Hassan because I have to spray him with water. Please? He sits there, look at this guy. Look at him. Oh, I'm not doing anything. Oh, look, I'm cute. I'm winking. Oh, what's this? What have I found here? I'm just touching it. No big deal. Maybe a little sniff. A little wink. Fight the demons. Fight the demons, pumpkin. Don't let it win. Don't let it win! It's too late. Bro's gonna attack. The spray bottle it just lives there, because that's what he does. Hey. Just be easy, my guy. Yeah, just go to sleep. No. 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 I feel awful. I feel like a horrible person. But I have these same speakers downstairs, and he could put like claw marks in them, and he's attacking the wires, and it's crazy. We have fun. We run around though, and he attacks. He's quite murderous, I would say. Okay, access tables. Users can query, modify tables, blah blah, for reader access, blah blah blah. Example table, blah blah blah. Hey, no. Don't think about your choices in life. You sure you want to do this? The examples below assume a reducer table with blah blah blah. Inserting rows. Cool. Seems reasonable. Filtering rows by index column. Seems reasonable too. My monthly column covered all of our tables in hot sauce. Yeah, maybe I should consider that. I got like bitter spray because he was attacking my laptop thing. That worked, but it made my cable yellow. Updating rows. Find a row, modify it, and then call update on the same unique column. Delete by unique column or by index column value. Iterating all rows. It seems reasonable, to be honest. Oh, the count is in there too. We didn't even talk about that. Maybe this should be in the reducer context thing though. What page is this going to be on? I think it's in reducers. Yeah. No, I think this is good. Whoa. Deschedule tables. Okay, let's see. Now, that's like, honestly, these are starting to look pretty good. These docs are starting to look pretty good. Okay, so we've done that. I think the other thing is I wanted to modify views, right, to talk about anonymous. Let's expand. Yeah, so let's expand. Let's expand the section to talk about the fact that views can be materialized. And that it can be much more performant to use anonymous view context because the materialized view can be shared by multiple users rather than needing to be materialized or computed for every user who connects. We can provide some general advice. For example, as well. For example, in Bitcraft, our game, we have our clients subscribe to chunks in the world rather than subscribe to the area around them, their character, because chunks can be shared by multiple users, whereas looking around a particular user requires reading who the sender is, which could affect the output of the view. Notably, this particular example would require parameterized views, which haven't shipped yet. So maybe there's a better example. Let's just plug that in and see what happens. At Grok, is this true? What? At Grok, is what true? Howdy, Doodle Chaos. Welcome in. You guys might be particularly interested. We have an announcement for Bitcraft coming up very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. Could be of interest to you. To this crowd in particular. Performance implications. The choice of... Oh yes. The choice between view context and anonymous view context has significant performance implications. Anonymous views can be shared across users. When a view uses anonymous SpacetimeDB as a result, the same for every subscriber. It can materialize the view once and use it, blah, blah, blah. Identity-dependent views must be computed per user. When a view uses view context, the result potentially differs for each caller because it can blah, blah, blah. Compute and maintain a separate materialized view for each subscriber if the results. Let's downplay that a little bit. I think that's a little alarmist. I think the language is a little alarmist. It's fine to use view context, but prefer non-view context if you don't need sender. No, we lost all the... What happened? Wait, we lost many of the changes. What happened? They just wanted to make a minor change to the sentiment. Can I go back? with this. Like, that sucks. No, we lost such good. I should always accept. This is terrible. I feel bad. Can we expand this section? Wish I could go back at the same seed and get the same result. That's a mistake. You get it back by scrolling and copy paste the editing, but I can't because I don't think it output it. Or did it? No, it didn't output it. It like deleted it, and that's the problem. If you say no to something, it removes it. And then you can't see it. So if I say yes, I should need to always say yes and then tell it to edit it. That sucks. I wish that they just gave me the option to, like, they give me 3 options, like accept, no, but I should like yes, but with changes. Okay, we'll do this, but we need to, when views get parameters, we need to update that. Because, like, entities in my chunk and entities in origin chunk are better from the creator Claude code. If you're on the latest Claude code, you hit tab and do yes and. Well, this is from today. What a bad UI choice. To the obvious tab character there, yeah. I don't understand why they just don't give me like a text input. And like, okay, do you want to see like let me see tab? Let me see if I can update Claude. Whatever. Let's see. Yeah. No, it's on the latest version. So shouldn't I be able to tab? Oh yeah, I can. That's odd. Yeah, that's an odd one. But I can't press tab. That's helpful. That's a good flag, Doug. Well, the problem with hitting escape is that I lose what it was talking about, and that's the problem. I need to be able to see what it was, and what happened just now is I deleted it, and then it went away forever, and then every other I tried to go back, and it had worse responses out each time. Let's look at this now. Seems fine. He's a sleepy guy. He's a sleepy guy. Actually, you know what? Can you hear that, chat? Probably not getting picked up by the microphone. It's too bad, because he's breathing. I didn't know we had this. All right, let's take a look. What do we got? In reducers, add a mention of Rust traits that you need to import them. So, okay. Just want to make one, all right. All right, that's good. Want to make another small update to the docs. Why is it not letting me paste that? I don't understand. I've copied it. Right? Yeah, okay. Okay. We are getting through this. We haven't talked to the index names. Add a mention of Rust traits. That was a request. We could probably do the, we'll fix the next button also. I'd also like to make this the language support page. You guys are not seeing this, but the language support page, I'd like to have that be more like logos, because I think people can recognize them faster. And that's easier. Is that correct? And can you just verify that that's the correct import? I'm not sure it is. You can look in the modules folder for Rust module. I am not sure it is. So chat, what have you been vibe coding these days, if anything? Does anybody know if this is correct? I wonder if, yo, can you send me that code that wasn't, because you didn't have the trait imported? Like, see the syntax. Okay. Now, chat. We could update the chat tutorial to do like ChatGPT APIs. That's bold. Because I have to work with like things on stream. All right, let's edit. Okay. Let's ask it this. That's reasonable. What are the doc sections need work? Based on my review, incorrect tag groups. Reducer context page. Should check if the document is available. Client SDK page. Okay. Okay. This is great. Let's start with 1, 2, and 3. Also, for number 5, we can just remove the row level security page as it is, or at least mark it as an unstable deprecated feature, as feature which generally has been replaced by view. Even vibe coding a Vite plugin for SpacetimeDB and building a desktop app. Would you be willing, DW Vance, to share a Vite plugin for SpacetimeDB? Interesting. I was gonna say share your cursor rules file. Quinn Bilden, welcome in. It's going well. We are working on the SpacetimeDB docs. We're trying to make them absolutely pristine. They're looking pretty good. They're looking a lot better than they did before we started this series. Still some things to do. I got a lot of the low-hanging fruit. Yeah, these just don't have TypeScript examples, do they? That's crazy. So we've got to make sure that we do that. Let me update the ticket to do this. So basically, subscriptions, subscription page. Very weak. No mention of TypeScript. What is a Vite plugin? Can you expand on that, DW Lance? Also, are you Doug Lance from you're in both chats? Is that what's going on? Yeah, Twitch text wouldn't load me. Interesting. How much do you feel math plays a role for AI software engineering research? I'm a pure math major and just curious to know what my thoughts are. That's an interesting question. I was only doing AI research. I guess I wouldn't even call it research, but I did my master's in machine learning, but it was very different back then. A lot of it was, the people were still doing like hand-rolled stuff and feature engineering and stuff like that. But then it was all subsumed by deep learning. And I think it depends on what you're doing, because for the research specifically, like there is certainly math involved. But what's interesting, I suppose, is that unless you're looking for a new type of model, it might not be that relevant, because, like, to understand the basic concepts, you could do that. But the basic concepts are actually not very complex. It's like you need to know derivatives, you need to know linear algebra, and you need to know the chain rule. And if you know that, that's like all of the math that's used. They just do a lot of math. So, like, and by that I don't mean a lot of different types of math. I mean a large quantity of calculations. So, in the case of like an LLM, it's just, hey, let's scale it up bigger and bigger and make it bigger and use more machines. At some point, I think it becomes like an infrastructure problem more than it becomes a math problem. So I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth, but that's my take on it. But I think you could certainly do with pure math. There's a lot of people with pure math that are working on AI right now. Like, advanced techniques are just not really involved. I think advanced mathematics, people can use AI, potentially. I don't actually know, because I'm not doing pure math. But I don't know that it's required for research on it. You might to like learn the properties of high dimensional data or something, but I don't know. See, what's interesting is, let's go to Excalidraw for a minute. Like, what people didn't realize when I was in college and I was learning about this is, like, usually you want to have a function. So if this is the loss function of a function, if that makes any sense. Basically, I make a prediction and I'm checking the value, and I can do backpropagation to do gradient descent to walk downhill and then eventually get to the bottom. But the idea was that there would be a problem because sort of complex functions are like this, and so you'd get stuck in a local minimum somewhere here. You wouldn't be able to get out. But the interesting thing that they realized at some point is, well, just if we scale up the dimensions, so like let's do, I guess, like here's a plane, and then let's do like a function in that plane. Something like this. They're like, oh, you'd get stuck here. But as you add dimensions, like there's always, if you have 2 dimensions, you can only go left or right to get out of the local minima. If you have 3 dimensions, you can go left, right, forward, and back. If you have 4, you can go like left, right, up, down. If you have 5, they have 1,000. So there's just, no matter where you are, like you're never at a local minimum because you can always just escape out the side. And so that was I think the interesting insight that said, like, no, you don't actually, that whole, like, I think that blocked a lot of machine learning research because they just didn't, they're like, oh, well, that's a dead end. You could never optimize a function, a complex function like that. But it just turns out if you have enough dimensions, yeah, you certainly can. I think that basically high-level functions, high dimension functions don't look like low dimension functions. At least, I don't know. So like that was useful. And so that might have been something that somebody needed to figure out, but once they figured that out, it's like, well, okay, call up Jensen and get 1,000 GPUs, and we'll just go to town. Vite bundler is a bundler and a build tool that I knew, but what does the plugin do? Already makes it easier to orchestrate the SDB tools from the front with front-end code. Can you explain that? Are you trying to say, like, you can run Vite, like pnpm build, and it will pnpm dev, and it will run both SpacetimeDB and Vite? Because what I was thinking is actually making it so that, okay, there are 2 options that we have for the templates. So if I go to SpacetimeDB.com, SpacetimeDB, we go to the templates. And we go to like Where's the React one? I think it's here. And I go to package.json, and I do pm dev. It only runs Vite. But you can imagine that we could also run SpacetimeDB dev at the same time. The other way to do it would be to run SpacetimeDB dev, and that would somehow know that, like, oh, you're in a JavaScript package, and I should also run Vite for you. So, like, which one should run which? Should it be I run Spacetime dev, and then that runs the other things, or should it be the other way around? I kind of lean towards I run Spacetime dev, because the cool thing I can do there is I can do, like, the AI tool that I was just talking about. But then I need a way of, for a particular project, like having like a client dev command, so which, you know, maybe is a command line argument and then also can go in a config file. I could do that. Could also go in template.json. But I don't think it should. Anybody have any thoughts on that one? Okay, where were we? This is a substantial update. It is correct. I mean, this is incredible, though. npm run dev is what TF developers know. That is true. So Spacetime dev, they wouldn't know. Is the idea. That's what you're saying. Unless it's like a cool AI thing, then they'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Maybe. Right, like imagine, for example, here, forget about the errors for a second, but at the bottom there's a prompt and I can say like, oh, do this. And it would modify it and run it. I feel like that would be cool. Because the other thing about that is I could even have it like orchestrate Unity stuff. So like if you're, I could have it open Unity for you. I don't know if that's a good idea, but maybe. Quinn Bilden says, I feel like I'm trying to force math to conform to my passion, and maybe if I spend enough time on it, that I can break through somewhere, but maybe I'm wasting my time and use AI to build cool things. Yeah, but I also think just knowing math in general will help you with AI. Like I don't think that's a problem. You'll probably also have to learn about like computers and infrastructure and things like that. But that's fun, at least for me. Yes, and where is this connect to DB thing coming from? Shouldn't that be connection builder dot build? I think I should play a game of OpenFront at some point. Yeah, this is correct. Do I need a cat cam? Chat, is that what I need? I think I do. This is correct. No, it seems not correct. Does the subscription have is active on it? I got to do a hackathon at UCSB over the weekend, UC Santa Barbara, and ended up getting. First, it's pretty hyped. My first time doing a hackathon. That's awesome. Congratulations. Did you do SpacetimeDB? Now that's a real question. I meant. Unfortunately not. I'll have to start playing with it more. Please do. Well, we're going to make it easier for people. Is active. Is that a function? I mean, is active. Am I dreaming here? I think it's gaslighting me. Is active. No. It's not gaslighting me. Interesting. Felt a little fraudy because I just used AI to do everything, and that's supposed to be what everyone was doing. And but I suppose it's everyone doing. Feels like hackathons are now AI PM-a-thons. I mean, that's great, in my opinion. Because we can start making cooler things in hackathons. I remember I used to do hackathons. I started the hackathon with some other people at Johns Hopkins University. And I remember we used to spend all of one day implementing a login system, and then the next day trying to do whatever we're trying to actually hack. So the fact that we can get to cooler stuff faster is pretty cool. That's the whole point of a hackathon. It's like, let's hack it together. It doesn't have to be good. It can be slop. I think there's also, like, I heard Jonathan Blow one time talk about a hackathon that he did, or some kind of I don't know if it was a hackathon, but a thing where it was an event where the whole theme of it was like 100,000. So you had to have like 100,000 guys. I think that's cool too. And that you probably couldn't vibe code exactly, but I think it's still interesting. I really like how you can leverage AI to help break down problems and stuff for you. I'm just not sold on Claude Code or Cursor though. I'd rather treat ChatGPT like the new Stack Overflow and ask my questions there. I generally agree with you. What I would say is that we are incredibly lucky as a programming platform to have AI, because if I do this right, if I can get these docs in order and we can get like good cursor rules files and good Claude code files. Maybe we could try one right at the end of this, just see how far we get. It would allow people to like try out the whole platform with like, imagine this was 3 years ago, right? If you wanted to try SpacetimeDB, you'd have to be like someone as enterprise as yourself, JP, where you're going to like really understand it and hook up to things and so on. But if you're a casual person, it's hard to come across and just try it. But now we could have something on our website that says like, put in a prompt, and then we run spacetimedev -- prompt, and it makes the thing for you. And then you don't ship that one, but like, you know, you do a few touch-ups, you get a sense of how it works. You could ask questions about it, and then ultimately you get there faster. And so I think that's the cool part. Is changing the I'd rather just treat ChatGPT like a new Stack Overflow and ask my questions there. I mean, that's largely how I work, but like, this is great. This is great. For docs and stuff, it's really good. That is true. It's cool that everyone just uses the best tools to build the best project. I really do enjoy using AI to build my ideas, just different skill than traditional software engineering. Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for us. If we can do this correctly, we're going to be going gangbusters. If we cannot do this correctly, what I'm saying is like we could go from no adoption to an enormous amount of adoption incredibly quickly if we can get like the AI stuff correct. Because if people can find out like, oh, I can make like a pretty good crack at Figma from a single prompt, which you can't do without SpacetimeDB, and we have like the benchmark to demonstrate that. I think that's powerful. How did you decide to be a founder over working for others? I'm leading the direction of that more than software engineering just because I enjoy making things. Thinking, interesting. Stray tag, interesting. I mean, I worked for others at first. And then I decided I just want to build. I wanted to create a thing that like people got a lot of value out of. Like I felt that my impact was too small in a large organization, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to make something of my own. So that's why I did it. Hubris, in other words. Okay. All right. What other suggestions? I had a mentor early on who told me that there are only two options: run your own company and be wealthy, or make someone else wealthy. Not the greatest advice, but it's fairly accurate. True, although I think being on the other side, like the grass is a little greener. I feel like many times, gee, I wish I had a regular job. I think it's true. Like there is the way to do it, but it's not easy. Or at least it wasn't easy for me. Maybe it's easy for some people. I think the thing is, when you start your own company, you're joining the arena, and you must compete or die. It's maybe a serial entrepreneur. I mean, you're right. Fundamentally, though, you're building somebody. Even if you don't say that it's like about money, you're building somebody else's thing, and they're paying you to do it, and they're paying you to do what they want you to do. And so, if you want your life to be about what somebody else wants you to build, which can be fine. It can be fun. I mean, working at OpenAI is probably fun, or Anthropic or something. But if you don't want to do that, there's only one way. Gang, just had to come in and drop a alert to say, keep it going, big homie. That's okay. I think we're getting. Love the green. The green on the website. Oh, in the bookcase. Thank you. Very aesthetic. Well, it's the company green. It might be the literal company green. Let's open that up. I don't remember if I did that. Well, I can't find it right now. I forgot I have Riot Vanguard on here, also known as Riot Spyware. We be vibing. All right, we're gonna take a small break because I'm gonna need to eat at some point. Let's take a small break, just a tiny. Just gonna do a tiny miniature game of OpenFront. Let's change this so I don't burn your eyeballs off. We'll do South America. I've never won in South America. You missed the cool graphic. Cool graphics probably gonna come back. We just had to do some emergency construction on the website because it was like we had a whole bunch of old stuff in there, and we needed to simplify. So we just kind of hacked it out. But we are cooking on the homepage. We're getting a new demo. It's coming. Night, demos. I typically start here. I've never won. This is probably a bad location, but we keep doing it. we keep doing it. We're gonna play 1 here. We're gonna win. Well, a non-929. I should have picked a better name, but here we are. Love reconstruction. It means no stuff. What? Oh, new stuff on the webpage. Gotcha. True. Who is hyped to win? Oh, we might be screwed here, though. Good, he went the other way. That's critical. Knew not know. Makes sense. Yeah, I gotcha. We're going for the annexation here. You always love to see the annexation. I'm all about that. Let's get across the river. Let's get across the river up here. Let's try and snipe that from him. Nice. Build another city. Let's try and snipe that. Let's go over here. Let's go down here. Let's be friends with Ethan. Let's build a factory. Is that the biggest snakes? It is. Go here. Let's go here. Let's go in on the biggest snakes. Let's go in here. Go here. Oh, I need to get... We're good. Little city up there. Let's go. Ooh, we're missing this. That's a problem. Cruise around here. He's trying to cut me off. Nice, the biggest snakes built another thing. That's a mouthful. We're looking to win. We're not looking to lose. That's what we're not looking to do. We're looking to place... Let's see. So you can get that guy to build over to us. The biggest snakes is still up here. And the biggest snakes is here too. Let's go on that. Who is this? What is this? Is that just empty territory? Might be. Let's go here. Let's cut him off. Nice. We'd love to see that. Nice. Let's get another... Let's get another city. Who's coming in on me? This guy? Get wrecked. That's not going to work out for him. I don't think. Come on now. Did I not ally up enough here? I might not have. Let's do one of those. Let's ally up with some people because we need... I'd like to go in on... Maybe we just go in on this guy. How many cities he got? He's got 4, I've got 6. This is a problem for him. What is he even thinking? Let's ally up with that guy. This is foolishness. actually. If we're gonna be honest. He cannot win this. I have more cities. So we're just gonna keep him at bay, I think. And we'll build more stuff. And we'll ally up with people for funsies. He accepted my alliance. He's clearly placing a boat deep within. Oh, he pulled it back. All right, we're gonna renew this. Okay, he's gonna renew. We love that because we want to go into this guy. That's what we want to do. That is what we would like to do. If you guys haven't seen this game, it's very fun. You try to make the docs so they're more AI readable and easier for people to use. Yes, we are. That's a major goal of what this whole enterprise is we want to make it easier for people to read the docs. For AI to read the docs. I think that's critical. Sweden wants to renew. We love that for us. We need more cities. 7 cities. If you attack, I will nuke. This guy's really pushing his luck. He's trying to indicate that he will nuke me. Let's just try to go in here. I'm trying to cut him off. And he doesn't have the manpower for it. Let's get it. Let's cut him off from these cities. Nice. Am I allied up enough? I need to ally up with more people. Oh, I'm gonna miss these cities. That's sad times, but let's do this. And now does he have enough money? He can hit me with 1 nuke. I need to move now or not at all? I should have gone. Let's do who's hitting me? Oh, nice. Let's ally up with this guy. Oh shit, I did really way too big attacks there. That's gonna be a problem if this guy doesn't ally with me. He did. We can get this. This is critical. All right, we got some money. Let's spend it. So I can hook up. Yes, nice. We like that. Now we need to get, that's fine. We're kind of a big boy. We need to be friends with this man. Badly. Good. And then we gotta get down somewhere, down south here. Maybe I can, here, let's do this. Let's scoot into here. My alliance with Jamaica. Where's Jamaica? I don't see that. Okay, and then this guy. This is gonna expire. We kind of want that. He's got nothing to combat me. So I say we just do that. We scoot this up. He wants to renew. I think we cook him. Chad, I think we cook him. We absolutely cook him. This guy's a moron. This guy's an idiot. He didn't even attack the right thing. What a doofus. Let's cook him. A little invested, a little invested. How did he get the money for that? Nice. We got him, chat. We got him. But can I stay alive now? That is the question. Terra should 1000% attack me right here, but he's not going to. Nice. We're got. Where we got? Okay, that's cool. Let's do the yeah, we're hosed. Well, let's ally with this guy. Come on, Terra. Please. Need another city there. I need like another thing there, maybe. And we'll just tap him for a little bit. And I need money. I need money badly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one of these down. I'm gonna put one of these down as soon as we can. That's really not great. Terra's out of the game. So that's not good. I'm cooked. If we're gonna be realistic. How much money does he have? He's $1 million? That's like not worth it. Who am I being attacked by? A gorilla? You should, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm 1000% dead. I can request a renew. He's not going to do it. We're cooked, chat. We are donezo. We're going to get hydroed. We're going to give him crown. That's rough. I needed the other people to live more. Yeah, we got cooked. Let's give him a salute. Because it's over. We are cooked. GG's. GG's. He's about to get to 80%. Unless France can do something about it. I don't think they can. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. Right, let's do one final thing here. Let's continue this. We'll finish this up, and then I'll say, like, hey, what about the various LLM files? You know, what other changes should we make there? Weird that that's like got rust over there. SpacetimeDB invoke lifecycle reduces when clients disconnect. Correct. Look at the website here real quick. Sure. I'm gonna dual wield some AI. I'm gonna do something internal. Another thing. Okay, I'm making a dashboard. This. Which is pulling from this table. Also have this table instead of just showing the total. I would like to show a stacked chart with the energy breakdown of each thing. What should I use for a query? you. We are cooking. It's asleep. It's asleep. So, I don't know if you guys are all familiar with SpacetimeDB, but if you're not, you can run the old @SpacetimeDB. Find out what it is about. And we are working on the docs here. We're trying to make it easy, simple, trivial to program complex multiplayer backends. Did we make the change? Let's do this. See if that works. Doesn't work. Okay, so now we've done that. All right. Any other high priority fixes? I got this for option B. Basically, I want to see broken link check. No, I don't want. I want to go back up to this. Well, let's do this one. Oh, weird. It's a good catch. Let's open up another computer. We're gonna do some more stuff. Do this. Wanna do this. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Let's do this. Okay, yeah, that's true. That seems reasonable. And then I want to do, what was the thing? Got too many things going on. Okay, now we're gonna come back over here. We're gonna do one of these, baby. Yes. 30 days. Okay, now let's see. I mean, yes, let's just call it TX instead of TX CTX. Okay, let's see. That seems correct. We're just going through and we're modifying this to be TX instead of CTX there. Let's cut this. Are there other changes you would like to? Okay, let's go over all of the files meant to be read by LLMs. So LLMs.txt and various cursor rules like files in docs. We got, I think they're in docs folder. I think they're in static. Based based on everything you know and industry best practice and best performance for content. What should we change about those files? my goal is to make sure that LLMs in one shot, even relatively complex functions with those files. We're about to hit our limit here. Have you guys played Hightail? We've been following them for a very long time. Since before they were bought by Riot. Please do. Okay, I think we call the original PR done, and we start on the next one. That's pretty cool. So if we open this up just to click on this, we've got all these things. We'll fix the LLM benchmark. Then I think these changes are good. Let me just say this. Really. Reference style docs is better for training. Yes. A lot of people playing Hytale and watching Hytale on Twitch. we don't want to put it directly in the templates folder. ls static c docs plus ls static AI rules. We should put it in static AI rules. Similar. Also, please review voting. Better. Okay, I am going to wrap this up. And I think we're going to raid someone else. But I think next time, what we're going to do is we are going to try to vibe code something with our cursor rules files and the new updated docs. Something like that. Give that a crack. Sound good? GG. Thanks for sticking around. I will probably raid out to like Ice Bear. Seems interesting. So we'll head over there. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I am cooking. I'm an idiot. Don't wait, it's too long. Adios, see you later.